to CeeLo Green, and you are watching the Coachella Valley Music Show.
So I love you too. I love you too. Oh.
Hello, welcome to the Coachella Valley Music Show. Today we have a very special entertainer. Imagine this. You take Michael Jackson and you take Adam Lambert. You package them into one, and that's how I would best describe my next artist on the show. Please welcome Krystofer Do. Hey, dude.
Hi.
What's up?
What's up?
So, tell me something. A lot of people don't know who you are yet. You're up and coming.
Right.
You're tearing up stages all over the Coachella Valley. You grew up here, and people love you because I think you started out as a Michael Jackson impersonator.
I did.
And
did
did very well. You incorporate that now in what you do, but you're more of a rock type of thing now.
Yeah.
Very energetic on stage, exciting, invigorating,
Thanks.
And very much an entertainer. So, what brought you from childhood, which you started pretty young,
right?
What got you into bands and taking it to where you are now?
Okay, well, when I was 16, that's when I started the Michael Jackson thing. He inspired me because my dad showed me this video of Michael doing Billie Jean in 1992, around there, in concert.
And you were how old?
I was 6. Actually, when he showed me, I was in middle school. I was probably 10, 11 or something. And so when he showed me this, I was, of course, one of the people who are just oh, Michael's a child molester. What are you doing? Why are you showing me this? And blah, blah, blah. And you just believing all the terrible things about him.
Right.
And so, so my dad is no, just watch. Just watch him. Just watch him do his thing. And so I was okay, Dad, whatever. So, I watched him. And I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. I was literally what? What? How? Who? Why?
That's the best way to describe him.
Yeah. And
it's what?
Yeah. And so I watched him, and I played it over and over and over, and I got obsessed, super, super obsessed. And I eventually just kind of got so obsessed, I was just all right, I'm going to try mimicking his stuff. And so, I started doing that in, high school. People started calling me, the dude who does Michael Jackson or whatever.
You're doing very well.
Thanks. But I actually got kind of tired of it after a while. After a few years in high school, which sucked for me, by the way. But for the years in high school, I was I wanted to do my own thing. So I decided to be. I decided to start my own band, and that was called Kid Icarus for a time out in the valley. We played places all over the valley.
Good name.
And even a couple of places out in LA. And Orange County, and that was an interesting period of time. Yeah.
What kind of music were you singing?
Oh, kind of the same stuff I am now, with a little bit more like a niched pop rock sort of thing. We did a lot of Maroon 5.
Oh, I got something I want to bring up because I've been meaning to bring it up to you over and over for the last couple of months.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it, and I just thought of it just now because we're going over your coming,
Right.
you have a vocal coach.
I do. Well,
And his
yeah.
name is?
So Tim Bruno.
Hang on. I know Tim.
You know
very
Tim?
well. I've worked with Tim.
Oh.
I have, yes, I know. I was surprised. I did video for Tim with his Desert Chorale.
And now, please give a warm welcome to the California Desert Chorale. And Artistic Director, Tim Bruno.
And I can show, this is separate inside. I have to surprise him. But this is, yes, I know Tim very well.
Wow.
So I was wondering if you ever mentioned that I'm also this man's manager.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever mentioned that I'm your manager?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't say anything?
Yeah. I don't think so.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a while. Like,
Yeah.
I don't talk to him very much.
Tim's a sweetheart,
Yeah.
and he is very good at what he does.
Yeah.
I mean, he trains multiple people, whole choirs, and he is an amazing. I mean, no wonder your voice is able to do the amazing things that it does.
I gotta tell you, if it weren't for him, I completely agree, because I mean, I've had multiple voice coaches in my life.
Right.
Tim Bruno is the one person who, like, singers work symbolically, we work metaphorically. We think about the things how things make us feel and what our voices could portray in that way. Tim was the person who really taught me how to unlock that inside of myself, and to really just go, okay, like, what do I want my voice to sound like? What do I want it to portray? What does the song mean? He really taught me how to make sure I get the song's meaning before I even get up on stage.
That's unusual for a vocal coach.
I mean,
That's
it's
pretty intense.
yeah, and I think it's true. I think
Yeah.
that vocal coaches, even though there should be technique and
Right.
all that studied and stuff like that, he brought out the musicality behind it. And that was what made him different, for sure.
Is he the reason why you hit the notes you hit?
It's partly, yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
because sometimes, we did a TV show which we can't really talk about yet because it hasn't been aired yet, so we're hush hush. But you did a big, what's going to be on a big television show. You performed, and the people that were watching it were some famous people, and you're like Michael Jackson meets Adam Lambert, because they were not expecting what came their way when you got to the end of the song.
Thanks.
And then you went from here to here, and they went, because it's like, where did that come from? You can go, your vocal range can go from a normal, average range to, what is that? And literally, what is that? I mean, so high and so powerful that, when I first met you, I used to say to people, well, he's like Michael Jackson. And I used to say, well, maybe he meets Prince, But no, that isn't it either, because even Prince doesn't do that much powerful, almost a screaming, anybody knows Adam Lambert knows what he does with it.
Right,
and
yeah.
to that point. And that's how he got where he did on American Idol, because he would suddenly do that like what you do. He would just suddenly go way up there, and everybody's, would go like that. And you have that. And so I finally revised my description to Michael Jackson meets Adam Lambert.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want to end up? Where is it you're trying to go?
I really want to be able to create music that people can really just look at and go, that's different. That's defining. That's something that no one's heard
Original.
before. That's original. And that's why I got so tired of people calling me, well, not, it's a compliment, but back in high school when everyone just kept over and over comparing me to Michael Jackson, I'm just like, that's great and all, he's like my idol, but I'm just like, no.
But
like,
I'm
please
not
stop.
trying to
Like,
do
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do Krystofer.
Yeah.
And Krystofer is that's, people want to know, though. They want to know, what is he like if they've never heard you, right? And I, as a manager, have to give them some kind of response.
Yeah.
And so it's a fine line to do this, because yes, you are Krystofer Do. Yes, you sound like Krystofer Do. or I wouldn't be bothered with you, because you are your own talent. And your music and your writing is not like Michael Jackson. Your writing is not like Adam Lambert. So, but when to describe you to someone that has not heard you yet,
Yeah.
it's, you almost have to. You know, say, okay, the person is like Barbara Streisand, or the person, well, that'll never happen, but the person is like,
No one's like Barbra
the person is like Sammy Davis Jr., the person is like Axl Rose, you know, so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you have to give them something.
Right.
So your low version of when you sing in normal voice, I would call it, it does sound a bit like Michael. And you automatically, because you love him, style kind of some of it like that. But then you go into this, I can't do it because if I did, everybody would turn off the television because they would turn off their computers and they would shut this program down because I'm so bad. But up there, wherever that is. So, I mean, how did you find that voice up there?
That took a lot of years of discovery, and it was something of like I already knew what I wanted to do, but like again, like a coach like Tim, he really unlocked like that technique behind it.
I figured this.
Yeah, and then of course, like, and the breathing and just being relaxed and all that stuff, and yeah, so I don't know, I guess.
And you are a piano player. And it's funny because, well, see, this is the funny thing. When I first met you, you played piano, sorta. I mean, you really sorta, you just accompanied yourself a little bit, and you didn't really play any chords. You didn't get crazy with it. You were just really super basic and almost like you were afraid of it.
Yeah.
And it was worrisome for me because you needed to be able to play it in order to accompany yourself on stage, and it was part of what you were recording and doing, and and somehow in the last year you went from this scared piano player to an amazing piano player. I mean, the stuff I see you do now on stage on there, oh my God. The fear is gone, and you are playing everything. I mean, you really you've become quite a musician now to go along with this great vocals that you have.
Thanks.
And God knows what you're going to do next. I mean...
Well, what's funny is that I didn't want to be a piano player. I really, really, honest to goodness.
What did you want to play?
I didn't want to play any front man and do
well,
all
you are
this
a front
kinda,
man.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you are.
And I guess, I just kind of learned out of necessity.
Yeah.
And then, eventually you kind of start loving it, and then you start going like, okay, like, what can I do to make this fun? What can I do to challenge
Well, let me tell you, you're
myself?
not alone in this.
Yeah.
And I will bring up famous people. Paul Rogers, Bad Company. He is a frontman, just like you. He goes all over the stage. He spins the microphone, and he is,
Yeah.
and people love it.
Yeah.
And then on certain songs,
Yeah.
he goes over to the grand piano, and he plays
Oh, yeah.
and sings at the piano.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's wonderful, and people love it. Their
Yeah.
title track called Bad Company, he did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he would walk away from the piano.
Right, yeah.
So this is not something that hasn't been done
Right.
before. And I've heard critiques to do with you. People say, well, I wish he'd get away from the piano.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
my brain says, yeah, maybe part of the time.
Yeah.
Because, and you do now. You go out and you walk around it and you come out and you dance and you do Michael and you...
I'm addicted to your majesty. Your lips just look so luscious, but I don't wanna rush and live. So listen to me, girl. I'll make your heart go picture pattern. Nothing goes so bad. You're the voice of my melody, beating of my heart. You're the face of my enemy, the essence of my heart. Why can't you say who meant to be? Oh, why can't we just stop the loving?
So I'm not so much in agreement with this remove the piano thing.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
there's been many famous artists that have done exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem to hurt them any.
You know-
So
What's hard is that, like, you know, it's hard to find reliable keyboardists. You know,
Right.
I have one who I work with, Alfonso.
He's wonderful.
He's wonderful.
Yeah.
But like,
But you can't keep him tied down.
Yeah.
It's like,
When he's busy, he's busy, and it's hard to find a keyboardist. And so in that way, I'm grateful I can play keys, because then I can
you can always fall back on it.
and I can fill space and stuff like that. So it's been really, really nice to just have a skill in, like, just the back of my head that I can just do. It's been really
You also
nice.
have
Yeah.
a what's the word? Magic special key that goes into a very magic lock. The lock being Krystofer Do band. The magical key is Razor J.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
yeah.
there are, you know, people who play incredible guitar work. I mean, they are, you know, and his major focus in music is not even your music. It's basically hip hop. It's
Yeah.
rap.
Yeah.
And it's always amazing to me that when he plays with you, I'm mesmerized by his guitar work. I mean, the guy he shreds, he does not use a pick. He plays with his fingers. He is like lightning speed. Insert clip here. It's amazing to me that he can go between this kind of music, which is way over here,
Yeah.
and your music, which is way over here, and
Yeah.
play it like it's the same.
Yeah.
Play it
Yeah.
incredibly well.
Yeah.
And I mean, he is like this magic key to your lock. No matter what other musicians you may have in this band from here until eternity,
Yeah.
this man needs to be next to you, because
Yeah.
he is, I mean, what do you say?
Yeah, no, I've had him in, like, pretty much most, if not all, of my projects since, like, the beginning of Kid Icarus, since, like, 2012.
Oh, is
When
he
when
part of
met him.
that?
Yeah, totally.
Wow,
He-
it's been that long. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that was like one of his first bands, like outside of, like, the stuff that he did for the community, like the band Heatwave. It's like a community band.
Oh, I
and
saw
stuff
him with
like
Heatwave.
that. Yeah, that was
It's
like,
always a great band.
Oh yeah, they're
Youth
awesome.
band. It's a
they're
youth
awesome.
band.
Yeah, and they're incredible. And then and just having, I mean, everybody in my band, everybody's always great, and I don't want to diminish
Right.
that the importance and the value
Right.
that they have.
Right.
But I gotta say, yeah,
it's like
Razor J.
It's like Razor
It's-
J
it's like-
stands up here. You know.
I mean, it's just the
And
dedication.
now we just destroyed anything left of him with his ego, because now it is going to go through the friggin' roof. And that's why I always try not to do it with him, but okay.
But the dedication,
But he is that good.
the dedication he put into his craft, and it's not just the guitar. He's his,
Oh yeah, his piano playing. Oh my God. Oh,
way better than me.
Oh,
and I'm just kind of like
Yeah.
you know, like it's crazy, but you know, that's what happens when you put in the practice. I try and sing every single day, because you should. Yeah, if it's a craft that you're trying to make money
Absolutely.
off of, you got to practice every single
Absolutely.
day. And of course, sometimes I don't. I get lazy and I you know, do things. But it's still like, I at least try and practice as much as I can.
when you're not doing Star Wars.
When I'm not
Or
doing,
and
martial
now
arts and
you've
stuff, yeah.
added acting,
I have.
and you've become really something special with it. I mean, I don't know your career. I mean, when I first met you, what did I say to you? Come on, what did I say? You can say it.
I want to say it.
Come on.
I want to say it.
Fine, I will say it. Then you know darn well what it was. I said you are going to be a star, because you have all the things, even the idiosyncrasies and the quirks of somebody who's going to be big. You have it all. I mean, artistically, it comes with that much talent. It does. It's just part of what it is. you did something recently. I videoed it.
Yes.
It was kind of cute because you're a perfectionist like
God.
Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
You got up there and you did about maybe 30 or 40% of it, and then you stopped on the stage with a full packed audience and said, "That wasn't right. Can we start over?" And I was like, "Did he really just do that?"
Yeah.
And because you're a perfectionist, and you knew you could do it better,
Yeah.
and you took advantage of the whole scenario, which was amazing. And then you redid it, and I was amazed at it. And they really applauded like crazy because, I mean, that was quite a response.
You can always give her the boy. No, of course, it really matters is the blame. Someone you can blame. Fine if that's the thing you enjoy, placing the blame. If that's the aim, give me the blame. Just give me the boy.
That must have been the hardest song I have ever done. And it was Stephen Sondheim. It was Last Midnight from Into the Woods. And it was just this, like, you know, it was like this cabaret, like, sort of like, it's called miscast, where, like, you know,
Right.
you would never ever put these actors into the roles that
Right.
they are doing.
Right.
And so, of course, like, you know, one of the roles that I would probably never do, even though I want to so bad, is the witch from Into the Woods. But, you know, she's always female traditionally. She's a witch, of course.
Right.
But I was just like, she is my favorite character from that. So I was like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do this. So this is going to be my challenge piece. And I feel so bad for Jackie, the piano player, because Sondheim is just not something you can sight read on the piano. And I just was just like, hey, can you
do this thing you normally would never do?
The day
Because I'm
of.
doing something I would normally never do?
The day of. And she was just like, all right, well, we'll play around with it. Here, let's go. And she is the most badass. Sorry, I don't know if that can be blurred
can be,
out.
yes, it
okay,
can.
but yeah, she is an amazing freaking piano player, and I feel I'm gonna forever regret giving her sheet music to sight read by Sondheim. But it was such a fun experience because I've been acting since middle school, like plays and tiny musicals and things, and I've done fight choreography.
Right.
I was like this villain in a student film, and that was really fun.
And you actually have another musician in your band who's an actor and who's an incredible bass player.
Oh, yeah.
If he doesn't break his head doing this when he's on stage,
Oh, yeah.
we'll all be well off.
Yeah.
He is an incredible musician,
Yes.
and he is in all these plays with you. I mean, he goes, and his girlfriend is amazing. She also basically stopped in the middle of that routine over and over. Felicia.
Yeah.
She
That was
did,
fun.
you know,
That was
she
a
did
lot of
her
fun.
thing on that same miscast
Yeah.
deal, which had me in stitches because it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't. She wasn't.
awesome.
She wasn't supposed to screw it up,
Yeah.
but by screwing it up, she made it even better because it became really funny and it was great.
I think it was a crowd favorite.
You think it was what?
A crowd favorite.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. He was hilarious. And so you've got, you know, Miguel Arbayo
Yeah.
on bass,
Yeah.
and he also does the acting in these things that you
Yes.
guys can now group together and do
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
Playhouse, at the
Yeah.
Desert Rose Playhouse.
Yeah. He does it
which
more
I
so
love
than-
the Desert Rose Playhouse, so that's a plug because I go there now a lot because I want to see him and I want to see other people that I know that perform there.
Yeah.
And they're doing a fabulous job with this Playhouse, and the shows that they're doing are top notch.
Oh, yeah.
And you are part of that top notch, and it's kind of cool, you know. I've seen
Thanks.
you were in Rocky Horror.
Oh yeah.
And
That was
for
fun.
those of you who didn't know that, when I was young, a teenager, I was in Rocky Horror on the movie stage, in front of the movie screen, as a stand-in for Frankenfurter.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I have a special attachment to that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we just recently lost Meatloaf, which was
Yeah.
an amazing talent. I mean, in every way. And he got all the people in Rocky Horror got their start in Rocky Horror.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Susan Sarandon, you know, I mean, all of them, they all, you know, got their start. And for some reason in that Midnight
Yeah.
Madness, which when I was young was the height of it.
Right,
When
yeah.
it came out.
Yeah.
And I know what it was like to go to there was theaters everywhere at midnight, all playing Rocky Horror.
Right.
So it was a thing to do.
Right.
You know, now
Yeah.
it's like passe. You know.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Matthew at the Desert Rose and
Yeah.
Robbie
Yeah,
decided to go ahead and and everybody said, do it again next year. Do it again next year because it was
I really
so
hope they
much
do.
fun.
I
So
hope they
much
do.
fun.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one thing I like about that Playhouse is that they make everything so much fun.
Yeah.
for the audience. The audience
Yes.
is actually included
Yeah.
in the play.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, it's
I found to be just make it that much better. Most
Yeah.
playhouses, you just sit there quiet and you watch the
Right.
play, and then when it's
Yeah.
over, you stand up and applaud.
Right,
and,
right.
And you go home.
Right.
Not in the Desert Rose Playhouse.
Right.
So if you all get a chance, go see a show at the Desert Rose Playhouse. Next up for you is you have some songs that are recorded. I produced one.
Yes.
I
yeah.
produced two, but
Yeah.
three. Well, anyway. One of them's out and released. My favorite ballad of all your music. The video was filmed at where you live.
Yeah,
On a basically a home built stage
Yeah,
outside
yeah,
during
yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
So everybody had to not be on stage at the same time and record
Exactly.
their parts individually, so
Yeah.
you didn't have to wear a mask on stage.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
Won't you fly with me? 'Cause time stops for you. So just keep doing what you do. Oh, it's hard to find a love like yours, so I love you through and through. 'Cause time stops for you.
And it was, and what Shawwacker.
Kurt Schauwacker.
Shawwacker. I
Yeah,
pronounced
yeah,
it.
yeah,
He did
yeah.
a really good job on being able to deal with all that.
Yeah.
And videoing that and
Yeah.
getting that video put together.
Yeah.
Especially with us as like hammering over his head, trying to get it the way we wanted it.
Yeah. Well, like what was interesting about that project was that, like, it was at the height of this Delta wave or whatever.
It was Delta, yeah.
Yeah. And just being able to direct something where you can't have everyone on stage at once. It was kind of like, okay, well, let's do the best we can. And like the stage was beautiful. Miguel did like all of the design work for it. Like, we borrowed the stage from Indio High School, like
Right.
the flat part, and then the rest was built around it.
And they borrowed lights from here.
Yeah, borrowed lights and everything.
And the lighting system and the
Yeah.
whole thing. It was, it was
and
really quite something.
It was a really fun.
And that piano.
Yeah, that electric. I think it's gone now. I think we got rid of it.
It's-
At this point, because it didn't. It was a prop.
The piano is
Yeah.
up. You shouldn't tell them that. They could. That's terrible. No, the piano's out in the dirt, out in front now.
Yeah, it totally is. It was just broken piece
Yeah.
of garbage.
It was
and I
a
hate
Kurzweil.
It was a Kurzweil.
Ah.
And I wish that it wasn't broken.
It's
but
so
it was just-
sad.
it was
So sad.
It was just sitting there, and
Yeah.
we couldn't do anything about it. I mean, fixing it probably would have cost a fortune. So literally, like, and I hated to see it go, but it was ultimately Miguel's. It's his place, So I'm just like, well,
I know he was very sad about it too. He said, David, there's nothing I can do with it.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yeah,
So now I'm waiting on. This is something you all are going to love. Keep your eyes out for this. I took you in and I produced a cover song, which is not an original. I took the original production and made it this big instead of this big. No offense to the wonderful person who created the original, because of course you can always expand on something somebody else does.
Always.
And Linda Perry did an incredible job with Four Non-Blondes of this song called
Yeah.
What's Up.
Yeah.
And I just decided that with your voice doing the Adam Lambert and the whole deal, that I would create a bigger rock version of it with a bigger tail and just make it. And it is finished, and I'm very proud of it, and I love it. I play it in the car all the time. None of you have heard it yet because I'm trying to get legal ways
Right.
to put this out without making any mistakes, because I just don't want to just throw it out there.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for Krystofer Do doing What's Up. Because,
I've got a concert that I've been working on.
oh, yes, mention it, yes.
Yeah. So, I really, there's a concert that unfortunately was canceled or postponed because of
COVID land.
COVID land.
Yes, COVID land just strikes again.
It is what it is.
It is
But
what it is.
I'm working on this really just this dark and gritty sort of theatrical concert, and it's going to be at the Desert Rose Playhouse, hopefully first. Because I really want them to be the guys who premiere my concert, But that's like that's been a whole process I've been working on, and that's been super, super fun because I feel like this is finally the first time I get to put all of my visions together, both visually and through sound. Because I really wanted to portray exactly what I want to portray to people, which is why it's called Listen. My concert's called Listen. And then, of course, it's like there's a visual part, so you're not just listening, but
because you can now take that acting and that dramatical stuff
Yeah.
I was talking about earlier,
Yeah.
and the music,
Yeah.
and create a show.
Yeah.
And I was really looking forward to it.
and you know,
Because it will be something special.
I think so too. I think people are going to love it.
Oh, absolutely.
I think people are. I think that it's going to be one of its kind. I
You're
really.
Mr. Costume and and dramatics,
Yeah.
and and
Yeah.
given a place to do this in, like the Desert Rose Playhouse will be. They have a great stage, great lighting, and everything's set up perfectly
Yeah.
for this kind of thing. So, yes, Matthew and Robbie, we need to see this show. It needs to happen. It will be wonderful.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
So yes, so you are mastering your craft, and I've always respected that. You don't take it lightly. You take it very seriously, and that's one of the reasons why I continue to manage your career and try to get you where you need to go, because you will get there. You
Yeah.
will get there, and I have firm belief in that. And one of the reasons is because you do take it very seriously.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists don't. They just think it's one big game and they go out and play, and it's just for, and it's just real lighthearted, and that's okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's all right.
But if somebody has your talent and doesn't master it and doesn't work on it and put everything into it, then
Yeah. Thanks.
and you do. And as long as you do, I'm going to be here.
Thanks. I
And
appreciate
it's very unusual that I actually have one of my artists on the Coachella Valley Music Show. And it's been a real pleasure to do this with you. I've been looking forward to it for a while.
that. All right.
And I really appreciate it. And I love you. You know that.
No, I
you
love
know
you
I
too.
love you.